Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. My name is Eric Barnfine. I'm with Forest River Class A diesel motorhomes. Today I'd like to showcase you guys the Berkshire XL 40E. So up front here on this Berkshire XL 40E, I'd like to showcase a couple features that we have. Starting at the bottom here, what you're going to find is the Freightliner Road Watch system. This Road Watch system is going to be an active system. It's a radar-based system. It's going to give you things like adaptive cruise control when you're actually driving down the interstate. Now let's kind of showcase the generator. The unique thing about this Berkshire XL product line is that it's going to have a generator, and on this 40E we're going to use a 10,000 kilowatt Cummins Onan. This generator will make this coach fully self-contained, meaning if I'm dry camping, I can run every feature on this coach as long as I'm running the generator. Let's go ahead and pop this back in. Now let's kind of talk about the fiberglass front cap. What you're going to notice on the fiberglass front cap is that it's a nice thick fiberglass. It's also going to give you kind of that cool slick design look. And then it also is going to seat our nice big windshield that is really going to give you that nice picture when you're driving down the road and really help you see the sights as you're driving to the destination, wherever you're going. Now let's move down to the side of the coach. Starting with the entry door here, what we're going to feature is a PTL steel entry door. If you notice, that entry door is going to be a little bit thicker than what you're finding on a regular coach, and it's more heavier duty, better for wind noise, and just heavier duty overall, better insulation. Next, you have your keyless entry. On the keyless entry, you're going to find that feature on every Berkshire product line that we build. The nice thing about having this feature is that if I want to lock the entry door, I just hold this one too. My entry door deadbolt gets engaged, and I can actually unlock the coach from this feature. What that gives me is the access that if I'm actually parked somewhere for a month at a time, I can actually leave the keys in the safe on the inside of this coach, and I can lock the coach and unlock the coach as I'm out exploring the area that I'm camping in. Now, as we move down, I'd like to kind of get into some of the chassis stuff that we do. What makes the Berkshire XL product line a little bit different is that we're going to feature the Freightliner XCR 380 platform. That platform is going to be a raised rail platform, and on this 380 package, what it's going to give you is it's going to give you the VFS front suspension up front and the V-Ride rear suspension in the rear. Now what that does for you is that, like, if I'm driving through the campground and I'm going through different grades of road, I'm not going to feel it as much on the coach, and the coach is going to more float on the air ride suspension to where I'm not going to feel every bump in that steering wheel. All that road vibration is going to be taken out with the frame rails and the suspension system of this setup. So one of the major features of this raised rail platform is going to be this pass-through storage that you're going to find. The nice thing is when you do a raised rail platform, what you're going to find is that really maximizes that basement storage area. And on your diesel pushers, you're going to find that main storage area is in between your front axle and your rear axle. You're going to have features like a slide-out tray that you're going to have access on both sides. The slide-out tray is great for when I want to use that table or my camping chairs to have underneath my awning. Now, just right above your basement, what you're going to find is you're going to find a full wall slide out on this coach. And in that full wall slide out, right underneath your awning, you're going to find your outside entertainment center. On the Berkshire XL product line, that's going to feature a 40-inch LED TV coupled and paired with this JBL soundbar underneath. Now, if you look above our head here, you're going to find our awning. The nice thing about the awning that we run is that it's going to be an armless awning, or it's going to be a latitude arm awning, meaning I don't have a headbanger as I walk around the exterior of this coach. Now let's talk about one of the main exterior features of this coach, and it's going to be the full body paint job. This coach, as this sits, is going to be the Cardinal exterior paint option. If you notice, I like to run my hands across the paint because the great thing that we do is that this is going to be a full buff and skim to where I'm not going to feel those paint lines drastically on this coach. Next, let's kind of move back to the rear axle here. Like I mentioned earlier, this coach is going to feature that Freightliner V-Ride rear suspension system. And what that suspension system really does is it helps you hold the road better, whether you're in a heavy crosswind or if I'm getting off those bell crank turns on the interstates. It's going to make it so the coach cannot tip over as much, or it's not going to give you that tippy feel on it. Now let's move back to the rear of the coach. If you notice on the rear of the coach, you're going to also have a one-piece fiberglass rear cap. In the back here, I'm going to offer access to the radiator and access to the motor right here. Beneath that, I'm going to have a 15,000 pound hitch. Yes, that's right, a 15,000 pound tow hitch on this 380 platform. That hitch, the reason why we're able to tow 15,000 pounds is because this coach is also going to feature 4-wheel disc brakes. If you notice, to the right of the hitch, I'm going to have my 7-way plug, and beneath that, this coach is going to feature the Freightliner brake sync system, which is an air line that's ran all the way to the rear of the coach, so I can actually utilize an air braking system for my tow vehicle. If we look up, you're going to notice our rear backup camera. And if you notice, you're going to have that chrome bezel look on your headlights. Now, as we move around to the driver's side of the coach, I'd like to talk about the rear driver's side bay. In this rear bay, what you're going to find is your 2800 watt pure sine wave inverter, and then along with your power cord reel. We like to use power cord reels on all of our products because it helps extend your camping season. Meaning if I want to go early in the spring or if I want to go late in the fall, I have my coach plugged into full power. You know, when I go to retract that cord when it's nice on a cold day, that cord's not going to want to fold up so easy. With our setup, you're just going to press a button located right here, and that cord will not automatically retract for you. Moving down further of the coach, you're going to find your 6 house batteries. Those are going to be 6 6-volt batteries. This is going to be where the house batteries are located for this coach. And if you notice in there, you're going to have a hard rotary shutoff switch that is going to stop all the parasitic draw on the battery. So if I want to leave the coach in the storage mode, I can leave the coach in the storage mode and store some juice in those batteries. As we move up to the next bay, you're going to find your 13-gallon DEF tank. If you notice, it is on the driver's side. And what I always say what makes these products different being a diesel pusher versus being a gas class A is that now I can actually go to the truck stops. And the truck stops are going to be more designed for larger vehicles like this. And you'll find a DEF fill at the truck stop. Now let's talk about the plumbing bay. The first feature I'd like to point out in our plumbing bay of what makes our product different is that we do a water manifold system. If you notice all your hot lines are on one side, or your cold lines are on the other side, you're going to notice that those are clearly labeled. They're also going to feature point-to-point connections to the appliance from this point forward. So meaning you'll see something that says kitchen sink on the hot side, kitchen sink on the cold side, to where if I ever need to shut off that water to the kitchen sink, this is the area where I can do that at. The other features of our plumbing bay that you're going to find is that you're going to have a thermostat right here. That thermostat is going to be for your tank heaters. So if I have my tank heaters, those 12-volt pads engaged for that heated tank system, that thermostat will activate the system when the temperature gets below 40 degrees. Next, you're going to find the whole house water filtration system. Finally, you're going to have your termination area for your dumps. If you notice in your termination area, the terminating valve is actually going to swivel, meaning that if I have a campsite with full hookups, I can actually run that little spin out and run my dump hose and leave it there. Next, let's move up to where our Oasis system is for this coach. What makes a Berkshire XL unique is that it's going to feature hydronic heating. This is where we started in our product lines. Now, hydronic heating is going to be a system that is going to run off the diesel fuel of the coach, or it's going to run off a 110 electric. The nice thing about this system is that it has about a 15-minute preheat. It's going to work as your water heater, and it's also going to work as your main heat source for the coach. So if I want to go on a ski trip, this is going to be the heat system for the coach. This system will replace furnaces, and how it works is that it has an internal heat exchanger in there that's going to have 2 different chambers in it. One of the chambers on the heat side will run antifreeze through it, and that antifreeze will recirculate throughout the coach to little 12-volt heat exchangers that are placed throughout the coach. The other side of that heat exchanger is going to be where your water runs through for your hot water. Finally, let's kind of move up. Another key area that I always like to point out is right here. You're going to notice the coach has dual fills on both sides. This coach on this platform is going to feature a 100-gallon fuel tank. But beneath there, this is going to be your chassis fuse bay is what it's going to be. And if you notice, you're going to have an auxiliary air connect hose right here for air, and then you're also going to have your pull for the release of the generator up front. Now let's go ahead and jump on the inside of this coach. First thing I'd like to point out is what this interior color option is. This is going to be our repost steel interior color. What that's going to mean is that your woodwork is going to feature the repost gray paint, and your furniture color is going to feature this gray, or what we like to classify as our steel. Now, as we move throughout this coach, I'd like to focus on our kitchen area here. This fireplace is going to give you about 5,000 BTUs of electric heat, so if I am plugged in and running the generator, it's a great heat source for the coach. If you notice above to the right here, I'm gonna have my TV. I'm not gonna lose the storage area behind my TV. So that's gonna be a great area. Nice little hidden pantry storage area for this coach. Above that, I'm gonna feature my JBL soundbar for the coach. If you notice all this great kitchen countertop space, it is gonna be a solid surface product in this coach. Your backsplash will be a full tile backsplash, but what I always like to do is pop up the electrical outlets, because this area right here is a great area for a coffee maker, if somebody would like it. Next, let's move over to the storage area of the kitchen. If you notice, I'm gonna have some storage underneath the sink, storage for trash cans. I can fit 2 of them in there if need be, and a good bank of storage drawers. Now, let's talk about the wood of the coach that we use in this coach. All the wood on this Berkshire XL product line that you're seeing, whether it's the slide fascia, whether it's the doors, whether it's the cabinet face, that's actually gonna be a real hardwood product is what that's going to be. Now let's talk about in the kitchen, what features actually make this product a Berkshire XL. Number one, you're gonna have this nice sink that's gonna feature 2 different faucets in it. I'm able to run water out of this faucet and also this faucet up top here. The other thing that I can do is that this will actually have a lock for when I need to run that plug to actually hold some water in the sink here. And finally, I'm gonna have the cup holder right here. Now let's move on to the cooktop. What you're gonna notice in the cooktop surface of any of our Berkshire XL product lines is it's gonna feature an induction cooktop. The reason we like these induction cooktops is, number one, it allows us to delete the propane on the coach. Number two, the good thing about induction is that if I have a hot pan on here and I remove that hot pan, I can immediately run my hands across here and this will be cool to the touch and I'm not gonna burn myself. So it makes it just a little bit safer for the coach. Finally, below that, you're gonna find the dishwasher. Let's go above that and you're gonna have, this is gonna be the oven for the coach along with the microwave. We're gonna utilize a 30-inch convection microwave. If you notice, it's nice and big. It is gonna give you the ability where I can cook cookies, I can cook Thanksgiving turkey in here if need be, and it will also function as a microwave. Finally, the final appliance that makes this a Berkshire XL is gonna be this 23 cubic foot refrigerator. If you notice, the locks on this refrigerator for the travel are easy. As I open it up, in the fridge, I'm gonna find a water canister. This is gonna be a Samsung refrigerator. Nice big space. Now let's open up the freezer. Down below in the freezer, the first shelf that I'm gonna have is gonna be an ice maker. If you notice, it's gonna come with a scoop. And then those are gonna be all the things that you can hang on the door for your actual refrigerator doors, right there. Finally, as we make our way back up to the cab, I would like to point out the extra bed that we put in the cab area. This drop-down bunk is gonna be a 500-pound capacity. If you notice, it's seatbelt driven, it's nice and quiet. It is gonna feature a net that will tie up to where you don't have to worry about people rolling off the bed into anything. It's a great bed for kids. It's gonna be 84 inches long, and in some areas it's 48 inches wide, and in other areas it's gonna be 54 inches wide. Now as we run this bed back up to the ceiling, let's get into the cockpit area of the coach and talk about the features of the cockpit. Now up here in the cockpit area of the Berkshire XL 40E, I'd like to point out a couple key features that you have. Let's start with the cockpit seats. If you look at the passenger seat, it is going to be a 6-way power seat. It's going to be a Villa furniture comfort fit seat. And what you're going to notice is that it's a nice wide back. There's plenty of padding there, but it's also going to feature 6-way power, and it's also going to have a footrest for the passenger. If you notice over the stepwell when you're driving down the road, your diesel pushers are going to feature a stepwell cover. I'm actually standing on it right now. So if we're actually in a travel mode and I need to get up from the passenger seat, I'm almost at that same exact floor level as what the rest of the coach is, and I'm not stepping down into the stepwell. Next, let's talk about the feature of this desk that we have for the passenger chair. If you notice, the desk is actually placed out right now, but we do have it to where the desk, if I don't want to use this desk, I pull it up and actually stores in this nice passenger console over here and gives me a little bit more room. Next, let's kind of jump over to the dash area here. In the dash area, let's talk about the stereo that we use and how it's going to be ergonomically designed for the driver to have easy access for it. On the stereo, what you're going to find is that it's a 10.1-inch touchscreen. It is going to feature GPS maps, and the GPS maps that we feature are going to be more of like a RV-style GPS unit, meaning I can put in the width, the height, and the length of the vehicle along with the weight, and it's going to only route me down the roads that I'll actually fit. The other thing below here, what you're gonna find is this is gonna be where all your switches are for everything that would go in your dash. So if you notice, you're gonna have your nightshade, your sunshade, which will be right up behind me here, and those will both be power. Next, you're gonna have your aux start switch. This switch, when it's engaged, is like running a set of jumper cables from your house batteries to your coach batteries. Next, you'll find your map lights, your fans, your air horn, your radio, generator start, and then your stepwell cover. Finally, you're gonna get to where your climate control options for the dash are. Next, let's talk about the OptiView Freightliner Digital Dash. The great setup about this dash is that it keeps all my gauges and everything right here in front of me. So my eyes simply go from up, down, up, down, up, down as I'm driving, and I need to check anything like my air levels, oil pressure, any of those gauges that you'd like to check. The other cool thing about this OptiView Digital Dash, going with the consistency of where my eyes are gonna be, is that actually my transmission selector is right here off the steering column. I'm also gonna be able to activate things like the VGT brake or the engine brake on this coach, or I could actually put the coach into a manual shift mode to where I can paddle shift. Next, let's move over to the other side. And what you're gonna have on the other side is I'm gonna have my washer fluid for the windshield, and then I'm gonna have my turn signal right here. If you notice, what the OptiView Digital Dashes did is make your driver's side console a lot cleaner, giving me my 2 cup holders, my adjustment for my power mirrors, my heated power mirrors, that's gonna be the heat button right there, and then this ATC override button, meaning turning off the automatic traction control. And then I'm gonna have my air brake, I'm gonna have an induction phone charger, and then my jack pad to control my leveling jacks. Now that we're actually in the cockpit, this is a great time for us to talk about the tile floor that we run on this Berkshire XL product line. What you're gonna find that this tile floor is gonna be a residential grade tile. It is gonna be hand laid like it would in a house. And it also is gonna feature a 110 heat mat underneath the tile to give you a heated tile floor all the way throughout the coach. Now let's transition to the dinette space. Our dinette space that we use, the good thing is that you can actually get 4 people seated at our dinette if I want to play cards or if I want to just sit down and enjoy a meal with the family. The other thing about this dinette that makes it special is that it's going to make a nice big bed. So if you notice, I just push the dinette down. I take these back cushions out. Those would be my filler right here. And this bed ends up being about 72 inches long. And then when I need to move it up for a table, it's just nice back right up to go. Now let's talk about the sofa. If you notice, the position of the sofa is going to be right across from the main seating in the coach. So when I want to relax and say it's a rainy day outside, this actually gives me a good amount of space to where I actually am not going to interfere with anything if somebody's in the kitchen, to where I can actually relax and watch TV. The other unique thing about this sofa is this sofa will actually jackknife for another sleeping area. If you notice, your armrests are actually removable. The sofa is going to have 3 seat belts in it, and I can position it down for sleeping now. And I still have a great transition area right here to where if I need to be up moving throughout the coach and somebody's sleeping. This 7-inch screen is going to be the control center for the coach. If you notice, you got all your lights up here, thermostat, inverter, converter, awnings, generator slides. It gives me my tank levels. I can go down, but this is going to be the main brain for the coach for the actual functionality of turning stuff off and on. The nice thing about this system is that I actually can download a phone app too and run this system off an app on my phone. So I can be outside on the coach and extending the awnings, for example, or extending the slides. And I can control the coach from my cell phone as long as I'm in Bluetooth range. Across from the sofa, you're gonna find another pantry area. So you're gonna have a nice big bunch of shelving here. It's gonna help with that access. Finally, let's get to what makes this floor plan unique. This is gonna be the first full bath on this coach. That's right, the first full bath. This coach is gonna feature 2 full baths. And if you notice, this bathroom is gonna be right across from the main bunkhouse of this coach. Now this bunkhouse is great for sleeping, and it's also great for storage. So we'll get a lot of customers that if they're really going to spend some time in the coach, they're always looking for that extra wardrobe space. So if you notice, what I just did was flip the bunk up to where now I can utilize the closet rod that's hanging on the top here. And a lot of people on this bottom bunk area, what they're gonna do is they'll bring some Rubbermaid containers and actually use this bottom area for more storage area of the coach. And the best part about it is, when I don't wanna look at all that stuff when I'm camping, I can close it off. Now, as we make it back to the rear bedroom of the coach, the first thing I always like to point out to people is that you do have a nice hardwood door that will section off the bedroom. Now let's talk about the bedroom storage area. It's gonna start right behind your TV for your bedroom. If you notice, you're gonna have some shelving. And also new for this year, if you do order that satellite option, we are gonna actually install the Wally boxes at the plant for you. Below that, we're gonna pick up some nice countertops space. So if you notice, like how this coach is set up, it's a great spot for picture frames, for clocks, for flowers, if you'd like. Below that, you're gonna have your bank of dresser drawers. If you notice, they're nice deep drawers. And in this coach is gonna feature 6 of them. So I got one set there, one set here. Finally, let's open up your hanging closet space. And if you notice, in this closet, you're gonna feature your safe. Now let's wrap around and actually talk about the bed space of this coach. Our bed is gonna be a tilt-a-view bed. It's gonna be a power tilt-a-view bed. Right now it is in the up position. And this bed is gonna be a 72 by 80 mattress. If you notice, right above the bed, you're gonna feature a ceiling fan. The nice thing about that is that it's gonna help move air and gonna help make you comfortable when you're trying to go to bed at night. And if you notice, finally behind the bedroom, here you get to the rear bathroom. So now as we get into the rear bath of this coach, the first thing that I always like to talk about in this 40E is gonna be this rear shower. If you notice, this rear shower is gonna be a nice big fiberglass shower, and it's gonna feature a huge seat in back here. I can actually sit down and relax when I'm taking a shower in this coach. Now let's talk about some of the features that you're gonna have on the actual shower itself. If you notice, there's gonna be 2 diverter valves on the shower here. This is your main shower one. The one right above it is gonna be the AquaView shower miser system. Now this AquaView shower miser system is a great feature for the dry campers out there in the world. If I'm trying to conserve my fresh water in my freshwater tank, but I wanna take a shower, in most coaches, what you have to do is you turn the shower on, and what you're gonna do is you're gonna run that shower and not jump in until you get warm water up here coming out the shower head. Well, you don't have to worry about doing that anymore. So if I'm dry camping, I turn the shower on, I turn it to hot water, and the next thing I do is I turn on the shower miser system. And to do that, all I do is I rotate this nozzle right here. Once that nozzle is rotated, what is gonna happen is that my water is actually gonna recirculate from this point forward back to the freshwater tank. So instead of coming out of the shower head and going down the drain and filling my gray water tank, that water, before it comes out the shower head, is getting redirected to my freshwater tank. What that means is I'm not wasting any water. Now, when the water behind here gets to a point to where it's 91 degrees Fahrenheit, this blue plastic is a thermoplastic. It is gonna turn a cloudy white. And what that tells me is that the water at this point is gonna be 91 degrees. So I want a warm shower. All I do is I jump in and I turn the shower miser back to now where the water is actually gonna be redirected out of the shower head. So it's a great little feature, helps you conserve water. If you notice above my head here, I have the shade pulled, but I can actually open up the shade, and I got a nice big skylight in the shower too to help accommodate people that might be 6'6", 6'5". Now let's jump out of the shower and talk about the rest of the rear bath. If you notice, you're gonna have a nice solid surface countertop here. You're also gonna feature an undermount sink. I got a great medicine cabinet above with great storage beneath it. I'm gonna have a towel holder for a hand towel. And I also have space underneath the sink for anything that I may need to store. Finally, next to the sink is what you're gonna find is that stackable washer and dryer. The nice thing about having the stackable washer and dryer is that it is a standard feature in all of our product lines at the Berkshire plant, but it's gonna give you that access to where if I am dry camping, I can actually do some laundry when I'm on the road. Finally, across from the washer and dryer, here you get your rear toilet. If you notice, this rear toilet is gonna be a macerator toilet, and that's because the actual black tank for this coach is gonna be located where the plumbing bay is at. So it is gonna have to pump all the way up to the black tank, but it is nice that in this coach setup, I actually do have 2 toilets. Thanks for joining me today. I'd like to remind you this is the Berkshire XL 40E. And if you have any questions, check out our website, www.forestsriverinc.com/Berkshire.